never really played that global game. They never really gave Team Liquid the wiggle room to exploit the fact that they had a global hero, that they had the Haka. They always just set up very strong pushes that Team Liquid had to react to and couldn't really play that trump card. So now Method with the first ban, Team Liquid, and first pick. Let's see how Team Liquid reacts. Abathar should also be banned out on this map. He was always strong here, and Method takes him away immediately.
Do you ban Tracer again? Yes. Tracer taken away.
Meaning that Genji, Hanzo are open, Tyrael is open. All three of them would be very good first picks here.
I think Hanzo a little bit more tasteful than the Genji.
Now there's a couple of things that you have to consider here. If Hanzo, for example, is taken or Genji is taken, then we could see immediately something along the lines of Greymane Tyrael. That alone as a combo would already be strong. So Uther is taken first of all. That already it doesn't shut down Greymane, but it makes it so that even if you pick Greymane with Tyrael, he is going to have a bit of a harder time engaging in these fights. If you pick Rhaegar, then you still have a panic button around, but they prioritize Hanzo over Tyrael for now. But I still bet that Greymane is, if not taken by Method, then at least banned on the second spot, because Method wants to make sure that in addition to the Hanzo and Tyrael setup, there's not also Greymane jumping in with them.
Boss control and boss damage here. Method going to be thinking about their pickups. Do you think they'll even attempt to tumble Genji, or are we just going to go straight into the Greymane, trying to have some control? As Uther so far has been setting up well with the Greymane, Genji not so much.
I actually don't know. I think it's a preference pick at this point because both of them work well with Uther. Both of them are absolutely fantastic in themselves. I could see them head into global here. I could see them picking either Genji or Greymane and then add, let's say, the Haka to the
Sure. Daka coming in could be a threat. Any other warriors that we can think about in the second and third slot? Leo has been picked up pretty often lately. It's going to be the Dehaka and the Nubarak, actually.
Okay, so Dehaka taken. I think that was to be expected, but I personally thought they would go for either Genji or Greymane in addition to that. Might not end up getting either one. Team Liquid could now ban out one of the two, and then Method could ban out the second or ban something different. So Team Liquid has to consider that. If Team Liquid doesn't ban out either one, then they will get one of the two, and Method is guaranteed to get the second if they want it. But for now, Genji about to be taken out. The mobility heroes banned against Shrimpy in particular, and I like that. I think banning out Genji would be great here. Personally, I feel Greymane would be better for their composition and complement it better. Method is likely to ban Greymane out, but then there's still a lot of heroes that Team Liquid could take in that setup.
Alright, there's Genji taken away. Method, will you ban the Greymane? Will you leave it up and risk the idea of Tyrael diving into you? They still have options if they do leave the Greymane up. They could go into Arthas themselves. Never mind, they have two tanks. They decide to ban Arthas instead, which means they may want that Greymane. But like you mentioned, Team Liquid can take it here.
I'm a bit surprised to see the Arthas ban. I mean, well, they already have that tank set up. It's unlikely that they pick Arthas as the third frontliner here.
But it illustrates that you want some kind of melee that dives forward, right? You want Greymane, maybe Illidan?
I mean, Arthas already has a lot of control here, but still, Arthas is a ban. I didn't really feel need. Arthas is strong, don't get me wrong. Like, he's doing really well in Europe in particular, so not a bad ban by any means. He has been played also a ton. He's involved in 36% of the games, which is actually a lot, so more than a third. And he has a 50% win ratio, which considering that he has been played 48 times is pretty solid, sitting at right 50%. But for Liquid, Greymane, as expected, as I said earlier, Rhaegar, if you don't have Uther, then you usually try and get Rhaegar so that you have that panic button, that burst heal when he goes and engages.
Are they baiting something? Were they banning the Arthas to see or make Team Liquid pick up the Greymane?
Maybe they have another hero for Shrimpy that just suffers at the hands of Arthas. That could be it.
True. The only thing I can think of is like a Cassia option with Uther. It'd be nice against Greymane. Can handle Tyrael coming towards her. You would have Peel forward to Haka and a Nubarak. Jaina would be a bit awkward with Tyrael diving you. Yeah, I'm very curious about this draft.
I mean, Method is going to show something. For Team Liquid, on the other hand, we still need an offlaner. And they can't get the Haka. I'm really interested what Team Liquid is going to try and pull off here later on.
It's time for Eternal to bring back Artanis.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the Arthas Band came in too, with Dahaka and Arthas Band down there trying to figure out what he would transition into.
It's going to be antennas.
That's what it is.
Dazzler.
There's a Cassia. So Cassia and Illidan. Okay.
Cassia and Illidan. Okay. Wait.
They need something more damage-based, right? Because Hanzo and Greymane have a hard time actually killing Cassia. But you can't really throw in a third damage here. Is there any offlaners that do bring the damage in? I mean, our chance would be horrible against Cassia. That's gone. Illidan would also run him over.
I mean, there's a few options that we have seen in Korea a bit more. We have seen a few more Thralls in Korea, but I don't think that's something that they will look towards now. I would actually say something a little bit more on the tanky side. I could even see them go into ETC, go stage dive, and try and play around that.
What about Stitch's offlane? Poke build with W.
Personally, I wouldn't use it with the setup that they have. They have very little lockdown afterwards.
Malfield?
Yeah. Taking a bit the focus away of the heroes in the back. That can work too. Actually, skipped my mind.
Yeah. I mean, he's just falling out of my brain, but that's mostly because I have a distaste for him. That's my fault. I should get better at that. Okay. Wow. Mix up and drafts for sure. I'm staring at Method right now. And I think they have a really good chance here, actually. You have pressure for Hanzo. Illidan can dance between the two. You have to play around the Greymane and him coming in with the go for the throw if he gets that, but still manageable. Cassia.
Definitely a lot of cool tools that they have here, but we also have a lot of opportunities on the side of Team Liquid, especially with the boss control that they currently hold. Malthael, Hanzo, and Tyrael, that's really good on the on-point damage, and if you're trying to fight for that isolated spot. If they can force the fight there, then it's great. But right now, they of course have to be worried a bit about running against a global. That's #1. And also, there's a very aggressive setup for Method where they try to run over you. I mean, the idea here is really just to engage with Illidan, with a Nubrak, all of them jumping in, getting the cocoon, and then driving the fight away from the cocoon. But we're going to find out if Team Liquid can turn it around, or at least start a comeback here on Cursed Hollow.
Team Liquid on the left side in the blue. Nurok playing Hanzo, Sport Billy on Tyrael, Malthael played by Ethernal, Hasawav's on Greymane, and Splendor playing Rhaegar.
And to the right side, we see on Cursed Hollow Method with Shrimpy on Illidan, Arcana on Dehaka, Aethera on Uberak, Curson on Uther, and Nick on Cassia.
So watching Cassia here, change up on the level 1. We've been seeing a lot of the Q build mixed in. Instead, we're having the charged strikes, which can be great against compositions that group up, and also lets you put up a lot of damage quickly on the front-loaded side of a fight, which is what you need when you have an Illidan. You want Illidan to be able to clean up fights, but also be dangerous while teams are getting lower and lower, and Cassia providing that here with the level 1.
Yeah, Liquid has, especially in the early game, have to start making a bit of an impact here. They really struggled in the previous 2 matches, or in the previous 2 games, to get anything done here. And I feel they are suffering a bit because that momentum is just so heavily in Method's favor. And now with Illidan also in the mix, it's a very aggressive setup that Method runs. There are the tools on the side of Liquid to deal with it, but they also need to get the coordination on point, and that was something that we were still lacking in Game 1 and Game 2.
What I like about this composition as well, is you were talking about the Illidan, but both Illidan and Dahaka can side push. And that means that Method with Cassia, who is actually really good at trading up in the lower stages of the game. Right now, she's on trading for Splinter, getting him low on damage. Gonna back up there as Nick is doing pretty solid there, but Arcaner comes in with a tongue, and he has made sure to put sticky glue on that tongue, getting a pickup on Tyrael. But Cassia can actually trade pretty well. If you're in a 4v3 with a Cassia and an Uther, you actually can do decently if she doesn't get locked down thanks to her trait. So Method will be able to dance around the tributes while they can choose or elect to put Illidan and Dahaka in side lanes.
And the start here alone with the kill against Tyrael is already annoying for Liquid. These early kills are usually of little consequence because the death timers are so low unless you are on a solo lane and your opponent is able to push a wave in. But it already opens up the map a bit for Method and allows him to take these camps uncontested. So it's one of those things where they are now in a position that where it just continues to carry the momentum from Game 2 into Game 3, where Liquid is already in a spot and is like, well, the game just started, we already lost the first hero. Illidan, of course, is also fantastic now for taking the camps on the map, and especially with the increased priority on mercenary camps after the rework in at the end of 2017. That works well for them now. but we have both of them heading straight for the night camp. At the top, we see even Siege Giant Camp now pushing through. So with Rhaegar and Greymane on the side of Team Liquid, they have a lot of camp control.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if Cassius can come down in the middle lane to help out with this smart camp. Looking like no, Dahaka going to be the one to go ahead and help control this area, while Illidan grabs the Giants, as you were mentioning, to push us against Hanzo. He should be able to hang out down there too on that bottom lane. And Illidan, if he's left uncontested, can actually shred through structures pretty quickly. So we'll watch to see if that happens here as the first tribute's up.
Yeah, so far there hasn't really been a problem since he's been very heavily invested on the camps, but as he said, the tribute could change that behavior, of course, on his part. But he's starting to make the rotation into the middle. Dahaka still at the bottom going up against Hanzo. And Liquid has taken a solid lead in experience. So Illidan is going to negate that to an extent as he picks up the XP in the mid lane, but it also, of course, forces him to invest time there. And that is time that Team Liquid will spend in a 4 versus 3 situation here on the first tribute.
Nick trying to get in here so he can drop in the harassment to stop the channel. He's able to sneak his way in just barely. Splendor was going for the channel as Team Liquid held the front line. Shwimpy comes in for the rotation, goes straight for Greymane. Greymane's getting low on health. The Impale will keep them back for now. Arcaner going in. Does he have the drag? He lands it. Nick and crew will try to finish him off while Curson starts channeling.
Yeah, and Malthael goes down after Hazops got saved, and of course that means that Hanzo is currently alone at the bot lane, but Shwimpy can make his way over there pretty quickly, especially since Hanzo had to clear that camp first. So it was really a good spawn for Method on the first tribute, and they again have taken a lead in experience. Shwimpy a little bit too aggressive here, is able to move away though, and at the top lane even more pressure. Hanzo is still alone at the bottom of the map, has taken the XP and is now starting to rotate, but realizes that he can just simply stay at the bot lane since Method has started to move away from the mid lane pressure.
And speaking about moving away, they got level 7 first, so they're up in experience. Team Liquid catching up just now. Alter will spawn to the bottom side, and Cassia is on her way while Dahaka heads to the top. Method in a prime position here to grab 2 tributes right away at the start of the game.
Yeah, they're looking strong right now. Dahaka is still at the top lane, as he said, so he wants to stay there for as long as he possibly can and come in late to the fight, where we have now Greymane starting to rotate down. But Liquid has, again, a 4 versus 3 for now, because Illidan hasn't moved down yet. He takes the wave first. They're trying to get an advantage in experience by shoving the wave out and into the towers. Nice damage with the cocktail alone already. Illidan comes in, Eternal is there, and now it's a 5 versus 5, as we have Dahaka also committing to the battle.
Illidan them cutting them off. Nice concave here for Team Liquid. If they can move in together, they can try to develop a fight around Method, but Nick is holding that top left pretty well. He's next to Curson, so he should get healed out. Engage right away onto Splendor. Splendor, the puppy, falling.
And Splendor is down, the drag on Greymane, and both of the dogs are dead. Nurok barely escaping with the straight jumping over the wall. But that is bad news for Liquid. 4 kills against 0 Method now with the nearly a level lead, 2 tributes to their name. And Shwimpy jumping into the back. He wants Nurok. And he is likely to get him, well, with the wave coming in, maybe not, gets the heal, gets the kill, but still dies.
The teamwork though, Curson coming around just to provide the last second heal there so they can make it through the shields and get a kill. And now Method are able to open up the fort down here. Now, a little bit aggressive there from the Odin player. Granted, he's ahead in experience, didn't need to do that, but still,
to be honest,
they make a place.
That was a sexy play.
It was pretty
realizing that Hanzo would be in the back trying to be, and then just moving around, and when he all of a sudden was confronted by 2 heroes, even with the 2 he could have gotten the kill, but then the minion waves moves in as well, and that's too much. And then we have Curson already in the perfect position to heal him over the debris. That was incredibly well executed from Method. I really like that. And now they have level 10. They can go for Curse, they can go for Boss, and the entire boss control that we've highlighted from Team Liquid has not even come into play at all. It wasn't even a factor so far.
Team Liquid wondering if they should move in for the boss play. They want to set up for a Dahaka kill if possible, but they are spying a little bit too little on the time here as Method's about to finish up the boss, which means they won't be able to contest their boss in the top right corner. Arcana drags forward, goes down, grabs a tribute, and that is going to be a curse with a big push for Method.
And Team Liquid is trying to counter push, but they are going to have to attempt to save their keep. I mean, Illidan just simply jumped over. It's like, well, if you don't move back, I can already work on the keep and prepare it for the boss to move in. They move to the first tower, and now they can simply disengage, wait for the boss to move in, and then pressure more with the boss itself. So they are in such an amazing position. But Liquid has 10 now, so they can finally start to fight back.
Hanzo Arrow comes out, big cocktail to follow up. Malthael dropped inside the web. We're going to have the Sanctification as well as the Divine Shield being utilized. Right away, a fight happens inside of Thorough, trying to do his best to kite forward, but Schwimpy does not care. Diving in with Nick, they eliminate the back line.
I mean, you gotta be kidding me, right? Boss stun goes in, triple kill. Can they end?
They have Illidan. He's healthy.
And they have the boss. They are going to end here. Nick is low, but it doesn't matter. Greymane is the only one who's left, and they are going straight for it. They are going to try and end here. And even if they can't, they will do so much damage. This is 7 minutes and 40 seconds in. This is insane. Schwimpy is just popping off on every single hero that he plays today. Another kill. It's 10 kills against 1, and Method just shuts Team Liquid down in one of the fastest series that we had so far. 7:30 on Cursed Hollow. Was that faster than Dignitas against Leftovers overall? I actually don't know.
I think so, actually. Leftovers held in there for a couple of matches. That was a really quick win there.
Somebody needs to look that up. When Dignitas won against Leftovers, the entire series, just looking at the play time of the series, was the fastest we had thus far, if I'm not wrong here. But this might have beaten it.
Method, looking scary today. Showing up, shutting down Team Liquid, seems to have a bit of a chip on their shoulder. Schwimpy, though, able to start playing on heroes that he really wants to just show off on. The Kerrigan, the Illidan, draft changing up for Method. This is exciting stuff to see.
I mean, if he didn't have the chance to make sure that it doesn't happen, I would say there's some account sharing going on. Dignitas now taking over on the Method side, but that was pretty impressive. That was well done here.
And that means that Method moves up, getting a nice win here. Team Liquid taking a loss. And I believe they're now tied up when it comes to wins and losses. So Method and Team Liquid on the race for the Western Clash, and that's got to sting a little bit for TL as they were in a large lead already. Let's go ahead and talk to Kirsten.
By the way,
here for Method.
Just to shut down any rumors here, there's an admin sitting with the teams in their comms when they're playing the games. Okay, that was a joke. I feel I have to throw that out there.
Calendar, they know it was a joke. Kirsten, how are you doing? Welcome to the HGC. Congratulations on your big win today. I would say a decisive win, 3-0 over Team Liquid. Did you expect to dominate that hard?
I mean, I'm doing good, by the way, and thanks. We didn't expect it to go as one-sided as this, but we were pretty confident that we would win the series.
Today, you guys were able to show off Kerrigan gameplay, some Illidan as well. Are these some secret strats you've been hanging around for a while, or are they just special for Team Liquid?
It's something we just took out when we saw that the draft fit, so we've been playing it here and there, and it worked, so.
Awesome. Well, good to hear, man. Over to Caldor.
Well, first of all, congratulations. It was pretty impressive. How much fun did you guys have with the Illidan and Uther combo when you got the heal over the debris to help him out to get the Hanzo kill?
I mean, that was a pretty weirdo. I just saw him running it down on fort, so I was like, oh, I'm above you. And he's like, heal me, and I go in. So
it worked really well, and it looked good too. For you as a support, how does it currently feel playing in the team? You had a lot of changes coming in. We saw now with Shrimpy in the interview talking about how he also has an impact on the draft, and I feel we can see that. Ethereal was always a player that was willing to experiment a little bit more with offlaners, with heroes like Kerrigan as well. Now we have Shrimpy, who seems to be very much on the same page. Very mobile setups for you, the Tracer play, the Illidan play now towards the end, the Kerrigan play. Does that feel very different from you, from the team that you were used to from the good old times, so to say, where your tries were a little bit more wonky? But it seems that you guys get more aggressive with Shrimpy in the setup. Is that correct, or would you describe that differently?
Well, I think the biggest thing Shrimpy brought in is he's always looking to make plays. So you have to be ready to back him up, because if you don't, he will, just die sometimes. But as long as you do that, it usually pays off very well.
Does that make your own job harder? We've heard, for example, from Team Liquid, just to give you a reference point, we've heard in the past when the team came up that Darkmorg was one of those assassins that was always very far out there. And then with Splendor, they finally found someone who was absolutely on the same page to support him and allow these plays. Does it, for you as a support player, make it more difficult now that you have Shrimpy with so much aggression and plays on the team to do your job right? Or is it just something that comes natural with you guys changing your playstyle?
I think the only thing it does is put more pressure that I don't make a mistake, because then it's a higher chance that something goes wrong. But other than that, it's not more difficult to play as per.
Okay. I mean, it definitely shows that you seem to be really confident these days. Your support plays and the plays you make on the hero are absolutely crazy. So once again, good job today. It was very, very impressive. Not quite what I expected coming in here, but yeah, well done. 3-0. So yeah, cool to see you.
No,
Thanks.
you're a bit humble, Kirsten, but I want to ask you this question to see what your thoughts are. You guys have lost to Dignitas and Fnatic, which are some of the big ones here in HGC Europe, but you take out Team Liquid, who is another big contender. Do you think for the rest of the remaining weeks up to the Western Clash, is there anyone else that you guys are afraid of that you could lose to?
There's no one that we are scared of. I think Trick might get us with some surprise picks, but I'm not sure if it's enough to get the best of 5. Other than that, we're not like we're confident that we will bring all the series home.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to more matches. It's always a pleasure to watch you guys. Before I let you go, obviously, you are allowed to drop some shout-outs here.
Well, obviously, shout outs to Method. Thank you for sponsoring us. It's a great org. And I think most importantly, hi, Mom. I won the video game. I hope you're proud. And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Kirsten. Huge congratulations to Method as they get a massive win over a formidable opponent, Team Liquid. They are now going to be facing off against, I believe, Leftovers next